Hi there, it's great to have you back again on our YouTube series. Don't forget that this series is brought to you by O3 Schools JAMB app, an app made for students to help with necessary preparations they need to make for their examinations. So do well to download the app today. Our class for today, the topic is Judges as leaders. We're still on the leadership qualities, and now I want to examine judges of Israel as leaders. Now, after the death of Joshua, God raised judges to rule over the people of Israel and to deliver them from the hands of their enemies, because the Israelites sinned against God. They worshipped idols like Baal, and whenever they did that, God turned his back on them and their enemies would capture them. But when they cried out to God, God would raise a judge to lead them. Some of the judges that ruled Israel include we have Othniel. Sorry, don't come here. Ehud, Shamgar, Tola, Deborah, Abdon, Gideon, Jephthah, Ibzan, Elon. These are some judges that ruled Israel, judges that God raised to rule Israel after the death of Joshua. So our major focus is on Deborah, Gideon, and Samson. So we'll begin with Deborah. Deborah as a judge. This is from the book of Judges, chapter 4 and 5. The events are recorded there. So we'll look at Deborah. Deborah was the wife of Lapidot. She was the wife of Lapidot. She was a prophetess. And the only female judge. So Deborah was the wife of Lapidot. She was a prophetess. She was also the only female judge recorded in the Bible, like the Old Testament, where we have a record of the judges of Israel after the death of Joshua. So she was the only female judge, and she judged Israel after the death of Ehud. As at that point in time, she sat under a palm tree between Ramah and Bethel in Ephraim. There, the people of Israel came to Deborah for judgment. And as at that time, God had delivered the people of Israel into the hands of Jabin. Jabin was the king of Canaan as at that time. So God had delivered the people of Israel into the hand of Jabin, king of Canaan. The king of Canaan had oppressed the Israelites for over 20 years, and then they cried to God. When they cried to God, Deborah sent for Barak. Barak was from Naphtali. So Deborah sent for him and told him that God had commanded him to take 10,000 men from the land of Naphtali and Zebulun to Mount Tabor. On that mount, God will deliver to this mountain. God will deliver Sisera to his hands. Sisera was the commander of Jabin's army. So Deborah told Barak that God told him to gather 10,000 men from Naphtali and Zebulun to Mount Tabor. On that place, God would deliver Sisera, the commander of Jabin's army. Jabin was who was oppressing the Israelites. So God had said he would deliver the commander to Barak's hand, into the hands of Barak. But Barak told Deborah that he would not go if she didn't come with him. He said if she came with him, he would go. But if she does not come with him, he would not go. Deborah agreed to go with him, but warned him that the victory will be given to a woman. And he agreed. So Deborah went with him to Mount Tabor with the 10,000 men, just as God had ordered them. And indeed, God favored them. They were able to win the battle. But Sisera escaped. Sisera escaped to the tent of a woman known as Jael. So when he got there, he asked her for water, but she gave him milk. And then he told her to stand at the door of the tent so that anyone looking for him, she would just tell the person that there was no one in the tent with her. And while Sisera slept, Jael killed him. So God actually delivered the victory to a woman instead of Barak, because Jael now killed the commander of Sisera's army. And that's how Deborah was able to help the Israelites from Jabin, king of Canaan, that oppressed them. So we now want to examine the leadership qualities of Deborah. Leadership qualities of Deborah. 1, we have wisdom. Bible said that she sat under a palm tree where the children of Israel came to her for judgment. Obviously, she had to be wise to be able to judge the problems that the children of Israel brought to her. Next, we have obedience. Deborah was female, but when God called her to judge the people of Israel, she obeyed and responded to God's call. No excuses of being a female and might not be able to lead men, they might not follow her, no excuses like that. Deborah obeyed and responded to God's call. Then we have Spirit of God. Deborah had the Spirit of God in her. If you check, she was a prophetess. God spoke to Deborah. And even when the children of Israel cried to God, when they were being oppressed by Jabin, the king of Canaan, God told Deborah. It was Deborah that told Barak the words of God to deploy 10,000 men to Mount Tabor. Lastly, we also have courage. Deborah was a courageous judge. When Barak said he would not go until Deborah went with him, without hesitation, she agreed to go into battle with the Israelites. It takes courage to, go into battle. So that's Deborah as a judge. We now head to the O3 Schools JAMB app. If you have not downloaded your app, you are wrong. Hurry now to download it and have a version. So we'll look at Deborah as a judge. Let's get questions, past questions that have been asked on this topic, Deborah as a judge. Here there's a question from 2021. Among the judges that succeeded after Joshua, which is a left-handed warrior? A, Barak, B, Samson, C, Ehud, D, Jephthah. Our answer is C, Ehud. The Bible recorded Ehud to be left-handed. Then a question from 2020. Deborah instructed Barak to gather his troops and engage the forces of Jabin in battle at A, River Jordan, B, Mount Hebron, C, Mount Tabor, D, River Tigris. The answer is C, Mount Tabor. Deborah asked Barak to gather the army at Mount Tabor. Another question here. Deborah was a judge when Israel was under the yoke of A, Moab, B, Midian, C, Canaan, D, Philistine, C, Canaan. The king Jabin, the king of Canaan, had oppressed the people of Israel for 20 years when Deborah was a judge. And then we have one of the most significant lessons from the emergence of Deborah as a leader is that A, she not only prophesied but also advised Israel. B, gender difference isn't a limitation to leadership. C, honesty and integrity are key to leadership. D, one needs to summon courage as a leader to solve problems. So the most significant lesson here is that gender difference isn't a limitation to leadership. God knew Deborah was a female and he still called her to judge over Israel. So gender difference isn't a limitation to leadership. These are just some of the questions that I've pulled out from the O3 Schools JAMB app under this topic, Deborah as a judge. You too can have access to these questions if you download your O3 Schools JAMB app from the Play Store now. So do that and activate so you can have full access to the app. Also, don't forget to like this video, comment your questions if you have any, and also subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out when new videos are dropped. Thank you.